Meeple Nation Podcast, episode 411, Medieval Games.
Welcome, citizens of Meeple Nation. For the next 30 minutes, sit back and enjoy.
Meeple Nation Podcast is sponsored by GameToppersLLC.com. Meeple Nation Podcast is sponsored by GameToppersLLC.com. Go there, check them out. Lots of awesome stuff. Cool toppers for your tables, or for your sofa, your love seat, whatever you want to call it. Your ottoman. That's the word I'm looking for. You can put these things just about anywhere, and they will turn whatever surface you would have been playing a game on into the ultimate game top surface. While you're there, add a couple of mats to beautify the thing, to give it a soft, cushiony feel. Dice will bounce right off of it.
Hopefully not on the floor.
It'll keep them on the table unless you're really, really into it. Lots of awesome accessories, from cup holders to legs to dining leaves. Keep your game in place, set up the dining leaves, and use the table as a dining table or some other surface for something else. Lots of awesome things. Gives you a lot of opportunity to go check them out. GameToppersLLC.com. You'll be glad you did.
That's the first time I've ever heard anybody say you can put a topper on a love seat or a sofa, by the way.
Or an ottoman.
I have heard ottoman.
Oh, really?
Because you can't put them on an ottoman. I'm not quite sure how you would put them on a love seat or sofa.
If you put them back to back and space them out just enough, you could just rest them on the backs of the sofa and the ottoman and the love seat.
What if you balanced it on the back edge?
I would be so
no
scared.
disaster would happen from that.
So
Not at all,
scared.
right?
Challenge accepted?
Challenge
Is that what I'm hearing?
Not
As soon as you get your own tabletop or game topper, Dave.
We are the hosts of Meeple Nation. I have returned, as foretold, Logan Howard.
Our newest member of the podcast, Logan Howard. I am Andy Holliday.
I'm Nathan Howard.
And I'm Dave Holliday.
I loved the sigh before your name, Dave.
I know, he's so excited.
I'm
And
Dave
I'm
Holliday.
here, like fine guys. We have a webpage. Did you know that? I knew that. It has lots of cool things. We have blogs. We have us that are writing blogs. We have guest bloggers, bios, so if you're dying to know Logan, he seems like such a cool guy. I wish I knew more about him. You can find out more about me on the website. All of our episodes, our pictures from Instagram. It's pretty coal. Check it out. MeepleNation.com.
I read Logan's bio just for fun all the time.
Email us any questions at meeplenation@gmail.com.
First try.
This week we are discussing medieval games. So there are a ton of games that have a medieval element to them. One, which is top of the list, which is in my top 5 games, is Dominion.
One of Logan's favorite games.
Such a great game.
This is awesome. I gave both my daughters for Christmas this year. Had previously said that they needed games for their houses because they've both moved out and are living on their own. So I bought them Dominion. I bought them the big box. So it has Dominion 2nd edition, Dominion Intrigue 2nd edition. Dominion was a great game. Probably one of the first games that I really taught them how to play, a real experience for them where they had to master the game in order to play. It was amazing for each of them. The first time they were able to beat Dad while playing Dominion, I think Dominion is probably one of those games that instilled their desire to play games. Not that either of them are major gamers by any mean, but they do play games. Dominion and Dominion Intrigue was a great addition. Look at that game, and it's really kind of just based on that Renaissance era and that medieval times, which is not just a restaurant.
I hear they're hiring.
Knights, yeah.
Yeah.
Not in shining armor.
It could be both.
It could be. They're just looking for knights in more than leather armor.
White satin.
Dominion's probably one of the initial deck builders that I got into as well. Thunderstone came after Dominion, so I can't think of anything that I played that was deck builder-wise before Dominion.
Yeah, that was my first deck builder.
I think of Dominion as the father of deck builders.
Yeah, I agree. I see it the same way. Dominion, even though there's people that are haters, I think Logan's the only person I know that really doesn't like Dominion. My goodness, we played this over and over and over again when we first got this game.
Yeah, I'd wish I'd tracked games back then because I'd be really interested to see how many times I have played Dominion.
Of all the games, we talk about games that come to game night and we're like, oh man, it just seems like every week we were playing this game over and over again. I think Dominion probably is more than any other.
I would agree with that. One of the first games that I got my wife to play and she actually liked, and it plays fairly well 2 players. Played Dominion a ton between the 2 of us. So much that between her and I, we made our own expansion for Dominion. And it wasn't just me coming up with cards. She was helping me come up with cards. It kind of holds a special place in my heart. I haven't played it in quite some time, but I really like that game.
It's a game for me, and Adrian also kind of holds a special place. It was a game that we were first able to really get Dalton to play. Part of that was he was incarcerated and didn't have anything else to do, but every visit that we made, we would play that, and he was excited to play it, and it was really cool. We'd show up, and he'd be like, "Did you guys bring Dominion?" We would just play it twice a week, actually. We were able to just boom, boom, knock it out, and it was really, really cool.
So would you say he was a captive audience?
It's how I felt at times playing Dominion.
This apparently is the episode of puns.
You guys talk about how much your wives, your spouses, everybody's spouse... Oh, wait, not yours, Logan.
Yeah.
But everybody's spouse really enjoyed Dominion.
Poodoo was it Poodoo?
Yeah, Poodoo.
Poodoo might have liked Dominion. We haven't tried that.
Poodoo's the robot from Bushi Bushi Dim Sum in Dallas, Texas.
I've written letters. She hasn't written anything
She hasn't
back.
written back.
It's probably because I need to email her.
This is probably... she's
Maybe you gave her the email address and didn't give her the right one.
Ooh.
Maybe it was meeplenation.com at something.
The wishing upon a star did not work for Poodoo.
It's frustrating. I don't know what to delete and what to... This is going to be a confusing episode to edit for sure. I don't even remember where I was. So. You guys talked about how your wives really enjoyed Dominion. My wife hated Dominion.
Did she really?
Yeah, she.
I knew I liked Cheryl.
Been in Camp Logan. Dominion for her was a game that just she did not like. Learning all the new cards. My girls loved it. My wife would never play that game with me.
Kidding. Oh, that surprises me a little bit.
It's interesting what tastes people have.
So, Dave, you have one of your favorite games on here.
Can you say
Charterstone?
Charterstone.
Great game. Looking down the list, there were a few that stood out to me. Actually, several of the games on here are definitely in my top. I can't put a number on it. Are definitely in my list of...
In your top 1,000 games?
Yeah, in my top 1,000 games. Charterstone, trying to think at first what makes it fit into medieval genre or medieval theme.
I think it's more steampunk. It's a mix between medieval and modern industrialization. I want to say that's where it kind of fits into that genre.
I would say it's maybe a little more medieval than steampunk, but almost a fantasy medieval.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not just pure fantasy.
Yeah.
It's a great game. We've talked about it on here before. It fits several of the things that I love. The legacy, first of all. I think they did a great job with that one. It's a great worker placement and a game that you get to develop. Even if you play it after you've fully developed the board, I feel like there's a lot of development that can go on.
I have really enjoyed West Kingdom Trilogy. Viscounts is on our list of games that are medieval. Same publisher has published Raiders of the North Sea. And Raiders of the North Sea is one that I did not like.
Oh, really? I love Raiders of the North Sea.
I like it now. I didn't like it until the expansion came out. And for me, that completely changed the game for me. My cousin Richie owns these games. When he first bought Raiders, we played it. I liked the mechanics, the unique mechanics of it. There was something missing. I don't know if that was part of the game. Sometimes you wonder. I think the same thing about Champions of Midgard. I almost feel like they took content out of the game to make them expansions.
Just so that they could have an expansion, right? They took a working model. This is a good game. Let's take this part out so that we can come back later and sell an expansion.
That's what it felt like to me.
Right.
Champions of Midgard felt the same way. I think the Valhalla expansion felt like it should have been part of the game to begin with. And I felt the same way with Raiders of the North Sea. I love it now. I think it's a fantastic game.
My experience is actually opposite of yours. I liked Raiders more as a base game than I did with the expansions.
Did you really?
And I think it's because it feels like it just drags on a little too long with the expansions. I think it's a good game. I think it's a solid game. It's just when it just goes on too long.
I guess you got to look at the return on a time investment. If it's going to take a little longer, does it add enough to the game to make it worth that extra time commitment? And I think in the case of Raiders of the North Sea, it absolutely does. But, I mean, it's to each their own. How do you feel about expansions? I know...
It's the same thing. We played Firefly at BGG, and you were not a fan of that experience of Firefly.
Right.
And Nathan and I, we talked about when we were there that we felt it was very lacking because we're not used to playing that game without the whole damn verse. So to be able to have that experience without it, it goes back and forth with me. Some games, expansions, seeing other games, it's like, could have done without.
Going back to the Firefly game we played at BGGCon, I think I felt that way because it didn't meet my expectations. I had certain expectations when I saw I've only played Firefly twice, so that was my third play. I had different expectations on how quickly things would move. I thought it would progress. Okay, somebody got the first goal, and then after a little bit, someone got the second goal, and it was someone got the first goal, and then 2 rounds later, the game was over. That's what it felt like to me, and it just went way too fast. Once somebody started completing things, it was just, boom, it was over.
We needed Dave there to say this isn't a race for the galaxy.
We needed Dave there. Not that it would have mattered, because...
But he says it.
We still needed Dave there to say it was not a race for the galaxy.
I feel that way, though, about a lot of games. You're building, you're working towards stuff. Because there are only a few goals to collect, as soon as somebody does one, people are already pretty close to getting the others, and so it's like, well, I got to go now. Now the race is on.
There was just so much build-up in that, and then it was just over. I guess I like the games. There's multiple goals that you have to do to get victory. I like the anticipation. Oh, someone got this goal. It's not like, oh, someone got the first goal. Okay, the game's pretty much over. Nobody can win.
Right.
And that's what was frustrating for me.
Medieval game that I absolutely love, and we've talked about it before, Quacks of Quedlinburg. The latest expansion, and you'll have to refresh my memory. What's that one called?
Alchemists.
Holy smokes, has Alchemist changed that game. We set it up the other day, and you know who has the worst luck playing Alchemists? Richie.
It doesn't matter what version of that game it is.
I was going to say it doesn't. Anything that's pressure luck as far as, at least with that particular game, he has the worst luck I've ever seen.
You know who has, like, the best luck I've ever seen in that game? Amara.
Yeah, no kidding.
She, like, has, like, the perfect draw every single time.
You have to keep an eye on her, because I caught her looking at her in her bag once. That was when we first started playing. And I'm like, you can't do that. You can't pick your pieces that you want to pull out of your bag.
Kind of defeats the whole purpose, right?
Kind of does.
I love that game. I like to press your luck. I like filling around in the bag, counting how many white things do I have left.
Cherry bombs.
Cherry bombs. Yep, white things. Yep. I like the last round because it's even more stressful because everybody has to do it at the same time. The medieval theme is really, it's just the potion making from the alchemists of the time. It's such a solid game.
This is a game my wife really likes. She loves pressure luck games. She almost always busts. Can't Stop is another one that she really loves.
She can't stop.
No, we'll end the game and I'll get my third one and she doesn't have any markers on the board because she just continually pushes it. One more time. All right, that was good. One more time. One more time.
Sounds like you need to take her to Vegas.
Or not.
Yeah, definitely or not.
Yeah. It'd be great until then. Just one more time.
So the question is, sounds like she loses miserably, but she still enjoys the game.
Actually, with Quack, she monitors herself far more efficiently in Quacks than she does in Can't Stop. I think it's something to do with the dice rolling. Quacks she does quite well on. Very much enjoys it.
Looking at this list, just to quickly name some of these games, and hopefully we'll circle around and talk about it. A lot of these games are the old school games that we used to play all the time here. My first couple of years coming to game night, so many of these games were here, and I was always so excited. We played one of these new games, and I was like, that was so awesome, I can't wait to play it again. And I would come back, and we'd play a different one, and I was like, oh, it was so much fun. Carcassonne, of course, is one that's been around for a long time that we've talked about before. Kalis, though, is a great game. Citadels is really good. Pillars of the Earth, Kingsburg, Vikings. There are so many, and they're all great games. They're all games that we've had a lot of fun playing.
Didn't you say that Citadels ends in a fight? One of you guys said that you guys played Citadels and it ended in an argument of some kind.
I don't think...
There was several times the game was prematurely ended. Somebody quit.
Decided they were done playing.
Decided that all of us were done playing.
And I think it was Dennis who was on the team of we just have to finish it no matter how terrible it is.
That's why I like Dennis.
Yep.
I'm more on Dennis's team.
Than storming off.
Push through it, right?
Yeah, push through it. If it's that bad, don't play it again. But quit a game in the middle is just...
Wait, you're telling me what I should do about Dominion?
Yeah, you should push through it.
You should
What was
like
the
it.
other part?
You are not allowed to dislike it. You must enjoy it.
Oh.
The option is you cannot play it again if you don't want. No one's forcing you to play it. I mean, you could just sit here and watch everybody else play it. So,
You know what a game I've played a whole bunch but lost every single time? Because Nathan is such an amazing teacher? One Deck Dungeon.
I thought you were going to say Bunny Kingdom.
No, it was one night, and I think the game was on Nathan's 10 for 10, because we played it like 6 times, lost each time, like, super hard. And then when we get done to the last one, he's like, yep, that's One Deck Dungeon, put it away. And I was like, huh.
It was off the 10 for 10.
I feel like I've
Jeez.
completed a goal. Like,
Oh man, that's rough.
I can't remember. It was a game you still own. Dragonfire? Is that what it was?
Dragonfire, yeah.
Oh, that was on my 10 for 10, and that was the worst game ever. I despised that game by the time I was done. Didn't like the game. And it was on my 10 for 10, so I had to play it. And after like 3 games, I was like, I really don't like this game. At the end of the year, played 2 hands, slogged through it, and oh man, that was the worst day of my Christmas break ever.
I still have not played it.
glowing
It's
recommendation.
sounding
like one
like
we need to
I'm
pull out.
really looking forward to it.
Actually, it's probably something that you would like. I'm not going to play it with you.
That's rude.
It is, but...
It is.
But going back to Bunny Kingdom, Bunny Kingdom's a great game. I love Bunny Kingdom. You're using your bunnies to develop and expand your fiefdom, to try to gain the most resources and gain the most points. And I am an exceptional teacher.
That's true.
In most things.
Bunny Kingdom is a game I've played 3 or 4 times.
Have you won yet?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't. I've lost every
And
time.
it's...
Horribly.
Yeah, every time I've really enjoyed the game. It's one of those games that I played the first time, and I was like, I need to play that again to see how I really feel about it. And I've played it over several times,
It was a new game, Dave.
which means it's automatically right up there. That game was awesome, but I need to play it several times so that it's no longer a new game so that I can see where it fits.
I see.
And so far, it's still, I think, really good. I think it's a really good game.
There is a game that has a medieval theme that we have not played in quite some time. We used to play it a fair bit, and that's Pillars of the Earth.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Gloomhaven.
That too. It's been almost a year. I guess it's been 9 months since we last played or something like that.
What is wrong with us?
And I'm feeling a little, getting some withdrawal. Based on Pillars of the Earth, the novel. It's a worker placement game. You're gathering resources during the game. You actually have artisans that you can use to building the cathedral. You're getting cards. You're getting people that you can influence in the game that will give you special abilities. In fact, I don't know why we haven't played it in such a long time. Probably just because we have so many games on our list to play. But it's one of those games that I would always be willing to play and go back to, even though it's been around for quite some time. It's a great worker placement game.
One that I would love to get back to the table is Shogun.
I've still not played that.
You haven't played that?
I have not either.
Logan, I know you haven't played it either. But Shogun is a great base in Japanese culture. You're battling and you're trying to control of areas to make sure you have rice to feed your people. And probably one of the greatest elements I love is it has a tower, dice tower, that you drop your cubes in. When you're having a battle, you'll pick up your cubes and my cubes and we'll drop them in the tower. And then whatever cubes come out, if I remember that right, those are the ones that will survive. Everything that's stuck in the tower is lost. I really like that element. It's very much an area control game, which is not really something that I usually thrive on, but I really like Shogun. Longer game, so that means, Dave, you'll like it instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's new to you, so you'll like it even more.
Double.
But Shogun is a great game. And right along that line is Age of War, which deals with the same Japanese culture. You're trying to battle to take control of sets of cards, which represent regions. And if you can collect all the sets, then you control that region. Otherwise, if you only have a partial of the set, then people can try to take that from you. It's a real simple, small game, dice rolling. You're rolling 4 dice, trying to match symbols on the cards. Both of those, Shogun and Age of War, are a great game.
You love samurais. I know that's themes that you like, samurai type themes.
For sure.
I'm curious. Back in December, the Kickstarter closed. I'm curious if you backed it. I didn't see that you did. I wasn't sure. But the Harakiri, Blades of Honor.
I did not back it. I haven't backed a Kickstarter since probably August of last year.
Oh, wow.
Haven't you told me to back a Kickstarter since then?
It's okay if you back them.
Oh,
Just not
okay.
me.
As long as I'm assigned to it, I follow through. Whatever.
No, it was. I was talking to our friend Brian Hirschbeck. He and I were discussing our pause on backing Kickstarters. There's been so much delay. I mean, yeah, we're starting to see a little bit more of those Kickstarters coming through, but I'm still waiting for a Kickstarter to fulfill from April 2019. They say, well, we're waiting for prices to come down. I don't see prices coming down.
I just saw that and I thought it was right up your alley. It's a samurai dungeon crawler campaign game.
I mean, that does sound right up my alley.
Anyway, I thought it looked cool.
It did look cool, but no, I did not back it.
But that would be another medieval game. If those of you that backed it or want to late pledge it, it looks like fun.
Classic game that thoroughly enjoyed our last time playing. And we actually had a member of Meeple Nation reach out to us saying they can't find this game. So if you know where it is, find a copy, share it with somebody. Mysteries of the Abbey. It is a really good medieval whodunit game.
It's reminiscent of Clue.
Clue, and one game where it's, are they wearing glasses?
Guess who?
Guess who?
Guess who?
Deeper version of
It's
those
a different
two.
guessing game.
There's definitely more to it than
Obviously,
Guess Who
yes.
or Clue. But the gist of it, yeah, you're trying to guess who committed the crime. You have quite a few different people to choose from, more so than you would in Clue. I guess with Guess Who, you have a lot of people, but you can eliminate a lot of people very quickly as well. Where it's a little more difficult to do that in Mystery of the Abbey.
I did see a copy for sale at the BGG Con swap meet when we were walking through there.
How much were they selling that for?
I didn't even look. I just saw it and smiled and said, I can't remember who it was that was looking for it, but I recall our advice was if you go to any convention and someone's selling it, jump on it.
That's also the advice for Battlestar Galactica. Saw a copy there. I'm sure they were charging a pretty penny.
Oh, I have no doubt that they were charging a pretty penny for Battlestar. We've talked over the years of Settlers of Catan. Rare occasion that I actually get Settlers of Catan to the table. I always play with the same expansion. Every time. If I don't play with that expansion, I don't play the game. And that's the Cities and Knights expansion.
That's probably one of my favorite expansions as well.
I think it vastly improved the game. The other expansions were, they were okay. I really liked the Cities and Knights expansion.
I did too. It was kind of funny back when we were playing it, you weren't around. The majority of the people didn't like Cities and Knights, so I was always bummed out because when we played Settlers, it wouldn't be with the Cities and Knights.
Crazy to me because I think it makes the game so much more interesting.
I agree.
And you get to choose what you want to upgrade, and it added such a great element to it.
Yeah, I remember those days, and I was always frustrated because we played it once with the Cities and Knights, and I thought, oh my heck, that's awesome. And so then whenever it was going to be played again, I was do Cities and Knights. There was always somebody who was not interested. And so we didn't play that. It was always frustrating to me because I thought it was great. Seafarers was...
That was my least favorite, was Seafarers.
I was going to say Seafarers, I think it seems like we played that more.
It's because I had issues, and I like to make giant maps of undiscovered territories.
I can understand that.
I love exploring games.
I do too.
Same.
Seafarers just kind of fell flat for me, unfortunately. Maybe because I played it once or twice. I have the expansion. I said it fell flat, and I haven't played it since. So
Times you'd come down, I had the whole 3x8 table, and I had it chock full of Catan tiles. You had just the little islands, and you had to go explore 30 tiles.
Nice.
It probably wasn't that long, but it felt like it.
we've all gotten a glimpse into Nathan's issues.
Tune in next week for a glimpse into Dave's issues.
Next week's, that happens every week.
I was going to say,
Sponsorship.
we have to fit all that in a half an hour? Oh my gosh.
Hidden role game that's fantasy, medieval fantasy, the Resistance Avalon. In my mind, it makes the Resistance and adds it just enough stuff to make it so much better. Because in regular Resistance, you're trying to overthrow some evil empire. They're not very clear on the story. But basically, there's good guys, there's bad guys, and you can say yes or no if you're a bad guy, but you're only allowed to say yes if you're a good guy. It's very cut and dry what you can and can't do in that game. But when they came out with Resistance Avalon, they have a whole lot more details that they've thrown into it. So flavor, they have different characters. Quest took it even a step further. Took the game. It was fun. I enjoyed it. One of my favorite times is Dennis when I was a spy and looking around for the other spy. Didn't know who it was. Didn't know how to stop the game without alerting the fact that other spy did not alert themselves.
That was funny because he said afterwards that he remembered, afterwards, that he forgot to open his eyes. But it was a tough game, Logan being the lone spy.
What they added with Merlin and the Knights quest, we played it at this last SaltCon. And hopefully we're going to play it at this next upcoming SaltCon. As I said, the flavor with the different knights and different abilities, it makes it so even if you're a good guy, you have more things to do instead of just vote yes. For that, I think they made a good game even better.
To Court the King. We talk often about little filler games. To Court the King is a good filler game. In fact, it's probably one of my favorite. It's almost out of the category of filler game for me. Everybody starts with 3 dice. You roll these dice. There's a bunch of cards in the center of the table that you can purchase depending on the dice and what they've rolled. So you roll your 3 dice. You have to set at least one aside and keep it, whatever face is showing. And then you can roll the others. And every time you roll the dice, you have to keep at least one of them until you no longer have dice to roll. There are things like if you get 3 of a kind, you can select a certain card. If you get above 15, you can select a certain card. Once you select these cards, and these cards are representative of different people in the court. The jester, there's just a bunch of people in the court. Ultimately, you're trying to get to the point where you can court the king, and the queen is right before him. Some of these cards will give you an extra die. Some of them will give you the ability to add 1 or 2 to any of the dice that you've rolled to the number of pips showing. Some of them let you subtract up to 3 pips and add up to 3 pips to different dice. I love dice. I love especially dice games where you can do things to manipulate the dice. Very simple game. Once you roll 7 of a kind, that is enough to acquire the king, but quite often you don't want to do it with just 7 of a kind, because if you take the king, the other players get one more chance to try and take the king from you. If they can roll 7 of a kind or more with a higher face value than you've rolled, then they will steal it from you. Whoever rolls the most of one die face will win it. If Nate rolls 8 5s, I can beat him by rolling either 8 6s or 9 or 10 5s, depending on how many dice I have.
It can be any other number, right? Like you could roll 9
Yeah, I'm
twos.
sorry. Yeah, 9 2s. Just have to have more dice that are all on the same face than what Nate has. Very simple game, but it's a great one.
I've only played this online, and it's one that I would really like to play a physical copy of. I had a hard time wrapping my head around the game online. There weren't really great instructions. I think I played with you and Richie.
Yeah.
It was just a really quick, brief explanation of the game when we started playing, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. No clue what you guys are rolling or what you have, and which is one of the reasons why I don't like online games. But you guys have spoken about this a few times, and it seems like a game I would really like. I would really like to play a physical copy of it.
Yeah, I think you would totally love this game. I enjoy it a lot more playing it in person than playing it online as well. Because it's available on Yucata, right?
Yeah.
There's a level of information and game interpretation that you miss just watching it online, as opposed to sitting and saying, okay, oh, Dave just picked up that card. Oh, Dave just picked up that card. Oh, Dave just kicked my butt.
So I like how you described that, just watching it online, because that's kind of what I did. Can't really say I played it online. I kind of watched it online.
The thing that I like about it, though, is once you're familiar enough with the game, online it's super easy. And
yeah, I can see that.
And I have no problem now just looking at what card somebody has. Oh, okay, this is what happened. I can go through it and do that. But yes, it definitely without that, it would really be confusing trying to figure out how to do it online.
We briefly spoke about this today. I want to talk a little bit more about it, and that is Champions of Midgard. When I bought this game, I purchased it because it reminded me of Skyrim, and Skyrim is my all-time favorite video game. So I thought, oh, this is going to be awesome. Played it, and I was disappointed.
Oh, that's too bad.
And, as I alluded to previously, it just sat on the shelf. And then I was looking online at, there's expansions for it. And I started looking at the reviews and some of the people online saying, you have to have this expansion to play this game. The Valhalla expansion especially. So I'm like, do I really want to spend the money and get the expansion for this game that I'm just super disappointed in? So I bit the bullet and bought it because I actually have issues. And that's one of mine.
It sounds so familiar.
I am so glad I did. In Champions of Midgard, it's a worker placement game. You gain dice. That's the main thing that you're doing. You're trying to gain dice. You have warriors that are depicted as dice. In the base game, there's 3 different colors of dice. And with the Valhalla expansion, it adds berserkers and shield bearers. The mountains expansion, you add archers. But with the Valhalla expansion, it makes it so when you go on and you battle a monster or something like that, your dice can be killed in battle. What the Valhalla expansion does, whenever you lose a die, you actually gain tokens that represent the spirits of those warriors, and those tokens can get placed on cards to do more things in the game. So yes, you may have lost those dice, but now they actually serve a purpose. So you may want to go fight that monster. Before it was like, I don't want to lose my axe bearers because they're like the toughest guys out there. With the Valhalla expansion, now you get an axe bearer token that you can place over on the Valhalla part of the board. Get some other benefit because maybe the card that's out there requires spirits of axe bearers or spirits of berserkers or whatever. Losing those dice doesn't hurt near as bad because they can actually serve a purpose in a different part of the game. Expansions, as I said before, opened the game up. I can't imagine playing it without the expansions. It's kind of like the whole damn verse that you were talking about, Logan.
With Firefly.
With Firefly. I think that if you are going to play Champions of Midgard, you have to at least play with the Valhalla expansion. Preferably both expansions.
I really enjoyed that game. We need to get it to the table again because it was fantastic.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Well, that's awesome. That is a wide sampling of medieval games. However, there is a wider offering of medieval games that are out there. So if there's a game that you feel that we missed that we should have talked about or should talk about more, let us know. We will be talking about medieval games for a couple of episodes here. Let us know. Reach out to us, meeplenation@gmail.com. First try, Logan.
Wait, what?
meeplenation@gmail.com.
That does not sound right at all. There's no wishing upon a star.
Nope.
Poodoo is so disappointed in you.
That is medieval games. We'll look forward to our chat next week.
Until next time.
We'll see you coming out of the Dark Ages.
As always, we want to thank you for listening.
Check out our website. We have all sorts of cool things there. Love those blogs. Get a deeper look into the writing side of Meeple Nation.
Join our Facebook group, Meeple Nation Off Air. I look forward to seeing you there.
Follow us on Twitter, @Meeple Nation. We also have Instagram.
Under the same name. We also want to thank our sponsor, GameToppersLLC.com.
We love their product, and they have so much goodness out there.
And we also want to thank Brain Detergent for our music.
Intro of Meeple Nation, Logan. Logna. Whoa, why did you switch that? Don't switch that.
What?
Logna?
Well, yeah, it says Logna.
Login.
Logna. That's because you were just messing around and not really actually switching those things.
He switched them a while ago.
Yeah, it's been that way for like 10 minutes.
Are you a transformer?
No, I would have been way cooler than that.
Yeah, okay.
Meeple
I'm
Nation
sure.
podcast is sponsored
You gotta
by
start
You gotta
over.
start over, you
Meeple
idiot.
Nation.
You gotta start over again.
Highlight of my day.
Come on,
is
Optimus
Dave
Prime, let's go.
doing the sponsorship. Amazing.
Dang it. I was trying
Nope,
to think
no
of
pressure,
my
Dave.
best Optimus Prime, but I haven't done it in a long time.
You've never had a best Optimus
I
Prime.
actually had a good one.
No.
Sounded a little like Sean Connery, but... I said that for your benefit, guys. You're welcome.
Thank you.
But it was so true.
No, not at all. Oh, God. Now I really want to think of it. Oh, well, anyway.
It's GameToppersLLC.com if you forgot.
Oh, okay, thanks.
It's my favorite is when he forgets and he messes up, then he has to overthink of how to say GameToppersLLC.com.
Okay, there's only so much space at the end of the episode, Dave. I don't want a 50-minute episode and 20 of those minutes be you trying to figure out what to say. Action.
Go.
Son of a... Damn it, Nathan!
Take two.
Head on over to...
You haven't even said Game Toppers.
Yeah, we didn't have to edit out the game.
I think you probably should just start over because nobody knows where you're at. Not even you.
Email us with any questions at meeplenation.com. No. Dave! Email us with any questions at meeplenation.com. Yeah, it'll go through.
Peoplenation@gmail.com.
It'll go through. Just wish upon a star at the website, and we'll get the message. That's really what it comes down to.
All right, one more time for officialness.
This week we are discussing games that provide some form of exploration.
Which he really means
would you-
medieval elements.
Dave,
You guys all need to be in charge of the documents now.
I couldn't help it after last week. I couldn't help it.